What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Eric, and today we're going to talk spoilers for Matrix Resurrections, the brand new Matrix movie that just hit theaters. Now, if you saw my review, my non-spoiler, you know I was not a fan of this movie. I don't think most Matrix fans will be. I don't think most movie fans will be. There may be a few who like it, but overall, this is just a massive, massive, massive disappointment in so many ways. We'll be getting into those, going to get into the plot details, going to get into some spoilers in this review, so be prepared for that. But overall, I talked about my main negatives, that this thing is way too self-aware. The new replacements for Morpheus and Smith, I mean, I thought were just terrible. I'm not saying that they were bad actors at all. I'm just saying that their portrayal of those characters was nowhere close, not even in the same ballpark, in my opinion. The action, the music, everything just felt like not just one, but multiple steps down. All the originality, all of the interesting concepts from the original, all that gone in place of simply nostalgia and, well, just simply a cash grab. I mean, this is what I feel that this movie really is at the end of the day. And that's why the Wachowskis didn't want to make a sequel for so long. And you know, finally now, after all these years, just one of them decides, okay, fine. And then you have the line in the movie that Warner Brothers is forcing a fourth Matrix and will make it with or without the creators. That line is specifically in the movie. So it's all clear. This is a money grab. And it's pretty obvious that it is. This was not a passion project. There was not an original idea. Lana Wachowski didn't wake up one day and say, you know, I got a great idea for a fourth Matrix movie. I think this would be amazing. Let me start working on this. And for months and for years, she was, you know, working on this project and figuring out how it's going to work and having storyboards and yes, let's do this. And figuring out different camera shots and different ideas. Yes, this would be amazing. No, they just threw that crap together and said, shoot it. So you have Neo now is a video game developer, and he has created a trilogy. It had to be a trilogy of video games called The Matrix. And when they watch clips from the video game, which it's literally clips from the original movie, everything was so on the nose. You didn't even leave room for, you know, okay, he made a video game that had some elements from the Matrix. Let him call it something else, something that we know, a word, you know, Zion or something. Let him call it something else, not the Matrix. You know what I mean? And let it have elements from his memory, and that's why he came up with all that. That would be pretty cool. But don't make it a trilogy with Warner Brothers backing it. Are you kidding me? He goes to see a psychiatrist who played by Neil Patrick Harris, who turns out to be, you know, a very important character in this movie, a villain. But yeah, that's okay. That was decent. I mean, nothing special, but you know, he's giving him the blue pills. He's taking these blue pills. Nice touch. I mean, not horrible. And yeah, when they were having their meeting and talking, you know, and he was in his therapy sessions, and okay, you know, I would be feeling it. I wasn't like, you know, super into it, but those scenes were decent. They were building the movie up, and I was like, okay. But then Morpheus meets Neo, and man, this scene is just insane. Now, we already met Morpheus a little earlier. He was like an agent, and he realized he's actually Morpheus. And then this girl hugs him, Bugs, here behind me. Bugs goes and hugs him, and it's like big moment or something. But you know, we're looking at like, that doesn't seem like Morpheus. But anyway, okay, well, we'll see. Maybe he's going to figure out now, he's going to find that embodiment of Morpheus. So he meets Neo in a bathroom. He jumps out the stall. At first he says something which sounds like a complete imitation, over the top impression of Morpheus. And then he starts laughing, and he's all loosey-goosey and coming over, and it just, his whole behavior and mannerisms are nothing like Morpheus. Nothing like Morpheus, in my opinion. And at this point, I'm like, this gotta be fake. That's why they recast him. This is not Morpheus. This is the machines messing with Neo. There's gonna be a twist here. I can see it coming a mile away. But I was wrong. There was no twist. That was Morpheus. How the hell was that Morpheus? You combine that with the Smith thing, and I thought all of this is that machine's messing with it, with his memory, something. There's going to be some explanation. There's going to be some reason why Smith, who is, you know, his boss, Neo's boss, why Smith is nothing like Smith, why Morpheus is nothing like Morpheus. There's going to be an explanation for that. There really wasn't. I still don't know why. I think it was a horrible decision. I don't think they should have even brought Smith back. because like his story was told a million. He was killed in the first one, and they brought him back anyway, and it was okay because he was an epic villain and everything. So they brought him back, and he was taken out in the third one in Revolutions when he was taking over everything. He took over every single individual person in the entire world within the Matrix. I mean, you couldn't outdo what he had done throughout that 3-movie arc. There was really no reason to bring Smith back. But if you were going to bring him back for nostalgia points, which this movie relies so much on, you need to bring back Hugo Weaving. So then they go to extract Neo, okay? And basically it's almost shot for shot, what happened in the very first movie, which it's almost cool for a second. You're like, oh yeah, this is a cool shot, but that's because they stole it from their own movie, because it's just a repeat of the first one when they extract Neo and all that. So, but after that, I will say that once he was there meeting the crew and all that, and actually getting accustomed to being in the real world again, I was enjoying that. I really enjoyed those scenes. He didn't have his beard anymore. He looked more like the Neo that we remember. He was a little bit confused, and I figured that eventually he would kind of figure things out and get more relaxed and get on board. Never really happened. He kind of stayed confused the entire movie, which is another detriment to this movie. But a really interesting thing that happened is when he was extracted, he did see Trinity there. Now, why she started to move and open her eyes a little bit, I don't understand that. Maybe because she could sense that he was Leo. I thought she should be unconscious there. She's in her pod. She's completely unconscious, right? Maybe she's sleeping in the real world or dreaming or something. And there was something that it never really explained it, but just kind of was confused. Why is she opening her eyes? Why is she slightly moving? He saw her and he believed that was her. And, obviously he wanted to rescue her, but the crew were like, it was hard enough to get you out. I don't see how we're going to get her out. And you have an interesting plot device here, an interesting situation. The machines kept them both alive for some reason. They were extracting Neo. Neo saw her. He wants to go get her. Movie. And then when he meets Niobe, some really awesome scenes there. Awesome dialogue, and some, when they do some catching up and things get kind of quiet, and she talks about, how he basically saved them and there hasn't been a war. She kept waiting for it. There was a brief flashback that showed her, I think, between Matrix Revolutions and this movie, a much younger Niobe. I don't know why they didn't shoot more of that. You can make a whole movie if you want. You can cast Jada Pinkett Smith and make an entire Matrix movie on some events that happened after Matrix Revolutions if you wanted. That might have been a better idea, to be honest. Basically a spin-off, if you will. But if you want to make more money off the Matrix, I think that would have been maybe a better route, because this is just basically a retread. That scene lasted, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds at most, and it was over. I saw Jada Pinkett Smith's face for a second, and that was it. But Niobe does catch him up to speed, catches us up to speed. It looks like about 60 years have passed. Now machines and man are like best buds. Some really laughable machines were there. Pretty funny, I don't think intentionally, but a pretty funny moment there with the machines that he meets, and they kind of go up like a pet, like a dog, and kind of or a cat or something, and he's kind of rubbing the machine rubs his face against a Neo or something. Pretty weird, but I do like when Neo sees the machines. You can tell he's a little bit iffy about that. He's like, why are they here? But Niobe eventually is going to lock him up, because that's what's best in her opinion. She's going to lock him up in a cell and keep him imprisoned, right? Which lasts a whole 20 seconds. First, he's in this cell. I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting. He's going to be locked up. They're going to have to try to do some kind of prison break, because they want to help escape, help get him out, because the crew, Bugs and everyone, they want to help him to get to Trinity. And Niobe is got completely different ideas. So he's in this prison cell, and then he walks out to a balcony. I'm like, what? What kind of prison cell has a balcony? He goes out to a balcony in the fresh air, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's some super high security there, super high technology security there. There's no way you're going to escape from that cell. He walks out into the balcony, and the ship comes and picks him up, and they roll. What was that? It was so fast. You could have had something cool there. Something cool of them trying to bust Neo out of the prison cell. No. 10 seconds, it was over. He does meet Sati, the little girl from Revolutions, and I thought that was okay, cool to bring her back. She explained some things about her father, and that was a character I really liked. I would love to see him back as well. But anyway, yeah, that was a cool moment, I guess. But the scenery there, I don't know if it was supposed to look cool, but it was kind of, it was pretty and everything. We had the well and everything, but There was none of that, from the original movies when he would go talk to the Oracle. They'd be out in some kind of rundown area. You had the train station, just some of these iconic areas. You never know, or it'd be, I don't know, meeting the Oracle and she'd be looking all normal, baking cookies or something. Just interesting settings and everything. And you really didn't get any of that. Nothing like that here. That whole well, it was really pretty, but it just looked like, all green, patchy grass. It looked like The Hobbit or something. It just did not look like The Matrix, like these cool, really interesting, and I don't know, just kind of creative settings that they came with. They're creative, but they're normal. The stuff that we see every day, but within the Matrix, you don't expect that. And when you see it, it's pretty cool from the original, but they didn't do any of that here. So later, the analyst reveals himself, Neil Patrick Harris, as this, basically he's the new architect, but he kind of figured out that even though Neo is the one, but he really is only most effective when he is nearby Trinity. They're kind of a duo. They both make things work, make things happen when they're together. Can't put them too close, but they have to be nearby. That's why their paws were so close together, and this creates this energy to make everything work the way the analyst wants. So once they took Neo out, everything just got all jacked up. So the analyst wants him back in his pod. He wants to give Trinity, Neo wants to give Trinity at least a choice of whether she wants to continue to take the blue pill basically and continue to be Tiffany. That's her name within the Matrix now. And she's got some kids, she's got a husband. Or does she want to be freed and be Trinity? Just kind of awkward because she never really showed any signs of, really understanding or remembering her former life. And it happens very suddenly and kind of awkwardly. Do not call me Tiffany. I hate that name. It was just a bit awkward, and the writing in this movie does not seem like it just flows nicely. It's just all like, again, it's just a bunch of this is nostalgia bait and things like that, and now all of a sudden she turns around, she jumps on her motorcycle because there has to be a motorcycle there because she rides motorcycles, so they ride off. Eventually they end up on top of a building. They have nowhere to go. They need to leap and either fly or leap to another building or something like that. So they get ready to go. They start to run. And then, of course, they have somebody let us know from out in the real world who's watching on the Matrix. Something like, are they going to make it? They got to make it. Something like that to let us idiots know what's about, that they're about to jump and they may make it or not make it. This movie has lots of that because we're morons and we don't get what's going on. Of course we get what's going on. I can see they're about to jump. Are they going to make it? I get that. So anyway, they jump and then only one of them starts flying. Neo is hanging there, but now Trinity can fly. What? And he's like, I'm not doing this. Who's doing this? Are you doing this? I'm like, yeah, we can see that she's clearly doing this and he's not doing it. He's hanging her dangling. Like it's pretty obvious he's not doing it. At this moment, I'm like, I don't know what this is supposed to mean. Is she the one? He's not the one. But then later at the end, they're both flying. So apparently they just need each other. They're both the one now. And the weird thing is, though, there was never, in this entire franchise, any indication that anyone was the one other than Neo. This is all just new stuff, just to have another movie. But as far as this main storyline of the machines, man against machine, and the one having to do all that and establishing who the one is. This is what this movie does again. So truly, everything that Neo did in the first three movies was basically for nothing. The machines just made a new Matrix, and now they can make another new Matrix and another new Matrix. It just starts over. It's like the Terminator franchise. You're going to do that. That's why the Wachowskis didn't want to make more movies. They knew there was no story to be told. It was over. It's done. And any stories you make, you basically just kind of change a few things, but you tell the same story. Terminator. Sorry, Terminator. Terminator 3, same story. Terminator's Genesis, same story. Terminator Dark Fate, same story. The only one that did a little different was Terminator Salvation, but just wasn't that good. For money. It's money. Money. That's why this movie exists. For money. The movie was not good. Could it have been good? I said I think there's a good movie in there. A decent movie could have been in there. I think it could have been a cool Matrix movie. I think there could have been a decent movie in there if they just, you bring back Lawrence Fishburne. You don't recast him and make him act completely different. You don't do the Smith thing at all. You try to do the action scenes a little bit better. And at the CGI, you really try to push the envelope. You hash out the story to make it better. You don't make it so meta. You don't make it so self-aware to the point that it's just a mockery of the Matrix. You just have to care. You have to have a passion. And I just don't think the passion was there. I don't think it was. I think if Lana Wachowski had a passion here and was like, yes, 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 another Matrix movie. Yes, I got this idea. I think it could have been pretty good. But that's not how it went, clearly, when you watch this movie. So it ends with both of them flying around. Again, with, you know, the machines, keeping them alive, you know, reviving them, modifying their body and all that. You know, I guess, you know, that's what has to happen to make another movie. They could have done that, but the way that they did it, the way they executed it, was just the execution in every facet of this movie almost that fails. Other than a few scenes that I enjoyed. I enjoyed seeing them meet for the first time, Neo and Trinity. Not just the first time where they sat down with coffee. That was a really sweet scene. I enjoyed that scene. Again, Niobe, and just the smaller moments. Niobe and Neo and the psychiatrist. Just the quiet little moments like that I'd start to get intrigued. But anytime there was action, anytime there was big things happening, just checked out. Just garbage. I really thought for the longest time that there was going to be all that alternate reality, all that there was going to be an explanation for that would make some sense. That the machines were doing this, that there was some kind of a weird alternate universe, some kind of weird thing going on within his mind or something to explain why Morpheus was acting so weird, why Smith wasn't Smith. Something was going to explain it, and nothing really did. It is what it is. So you guys have a fantastic day. Please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Hope you enjoyed this this spoiler review and the non-spoiler and all the other Matrix movie reviews that I've done. I think I'm pretty much done with the Matrix for a while, and I hope that Hollywood is as well. See you guys next time.